Welcome to Concert Pipeline. I'm Steve Jones. Today on the program, we have a bunch of music for you. No interview today. Another concert review that we're going to do for this episode. Ex-Ambassadors show at August Hall in San Francisco on May 8th. That's right, I got a chance to go to that show. I'm going to talk about it and kind of remember as much as I can about that show from a week and a half ago. My memory is not what it used to be, but I'll do my best and we'll bring some songs along the way. This is episode 444. I usually don't mention the number, but something about the fours intrigued me, and I figured I'd drop the numbers in this in the intro to this episode. So, good stuff. Okay, before we get into all the music we're going to cover, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in my world. First off, I just got back from a 3-day camping trip with my son. I took him up to Hat Creek, which is out east of Redding. I hadn't been there before, but I was invited by my friend John and some other buddies were going, some people I didn't know as well. And my buddy Ben was going to be there. And so I was like, okay, sure, we'll do it. It's pretty far. There was a piece of me that was like, I should just back out. I'm going to back out because it's over 3 hours of driving, and I don't want to drive that much just to go camping. Sure, it'll be fun, but the getting there isn't the easy part, right? So, but I took a day off of work, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I was invited, and I committed. So I'm going to keep my commitments because that's what I do. And I was getting my son out of school early. We were going to make a whole weekend of it. I'm like, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to go trout fishing. I'd taken my son fishing a couple of times in the past couple of months, and to no avail. I didn't catch any fish, and it just kept bumming me out because I just wanted him to catch a fish ultimately, and to show him that it can be done, and teach him a little bit about it. But I don't see myself as a great fisherman, particularly. So, but I try, and I'm willing to get out there and give it a whirl. But I do snag a lot, and I lose a lot of my gear in whatever body of water I'm fishing in. It just happens. So that was, in the back of my mind. But I thought, well, at the very least, we'll have a good camping trip and be among cool people. So Friday mid morning, we drove up there. We stopped at a taqueria on the way that I like to stop at when I go duck hunting. After my duck hunts, sometimes with buddies, I stop at this taqueria, have a burrito, get some Mexican pastries, which are tasty, and get on my way. Well, I took my son, and he really enjoyed it. He had a couple tacos and got to choose a Mexican pastry out, which he enjoyed. And get a soda. He had a good time, so he liked that part of it. And there's no phone service up at Hat Creek, or very, very, very minimal if you get any. And so along the way, my buddy Ben had texted me telling me where his campsite was, because it was a first come first serve sort of situation. And so I wanted to get up there at a decent time and get a campsite near wherever the group was going to be. So I did. We got up there. I overshot the campgrounds and went into another campground at first and tried to find my buddy. He was not at that campground, so I got directions to the right campground, made it there, parked, and then we hung out with my buddy Ben and his fiance, their dog, for a bit. Set up our camp, got all situated. Ended up making a campfire, and I made some burgers, which is cool. They were actually pretty decent. So we did that, and then I just hung out as a group, and other people came into the campgrounds and hung out for a bit. We had a couple of drinks and just enjoyed the evening until I needed to put my son to bed in the tent, and he didn't want to be there alone. So I ended up needing to migrate into the tent with him before I would have liked to. But so it goes. Part of being a parent. My son was the only real kid there, also. So that was so I kind of just had to be amongst adults, but he liked the people that we were around. He was cool with them, and so it was the first day. We did a little fishing, a little bit. Didn't catch anything on that Friday. So next morning, my buddy John was getting out fishing early. I didn't go out with them that early, but I ended up going fishing with some other folks a little bit later in the morning. And again, didn't catch any fish at that point, but but gave it a whirl and practiced with my son, taught him how to cast out and some things about fishing, and we gave it a whirl. And we played the creek. He played with my buddy's dog a lot. Was training him a bit in the way that we train my dog. He had a great time with that, and it was a lot of fun. And I probably tried fishing again that afternoon, and with my I think I did with my son, and it didn't produce anything. But we just hung out. They were some folks were going to go up to a lake and go fishing there, but decided to let my son have the say of where we go and what we do. Since it's kind of a trip, and I want to keep in his good graces, just have a good time. So, so we just hung out a bit. We did go fishing for like an hour, but we also I had downloaded War of the Worlds on my iPad because there's no service. So I was like, guess that's the movie we're gonna watch. And we watched part of that. Enjoyed it, and then there was a big potluck that evening. Also, that this would be Saturday evening, where a bunch of people made a bunch of great food, shared it with the group, and it was delicious. I mean, there were a couple fish caught. Not many people caught fish, and those that did catch fish, they're not very big. We were expecting some bigger trout, but the creek hadn't been stocked with big trout, only 5 to 6 inch trout. So there was a handful of those that were shared. There was pulled pork. There's tri-tip. There was just a bunch of different foods, a couple different types of cookies, and and Atticus had a cookie that had walnut in it. He didn't realize that there was walnut, and he had had a situation in the past where he thought he had an allergic reaction. Well, my daughter and his mom thought he had an allergic reaction to walnuts, so he was tested for he got an allergy test, and it found out that he was not allergic to walnuts, but then she still thought it was a false negative. So my son was freaking out a bit about the walnut and possibly having an allergic reaction. There was no reaction at all. So I tried to calm him down and show him, hey, look, this is actually not a bad thing that we found out that you might not be allergic to walnuts, actually, so you don't need to be scared of them. But watching a little bit more of War of the Worlds helped calm that down as well. So we made it through that night, and then the next morning, Sunday morning, John came to my campsite, and because he was staying in the cabin, and he was telling me where he was going up fishing about 25 minutes away. So this was at like 5 in the morning that he showed up at my campsite. And I was already up and out, and but I got my son up at about 5:30, and then took the tent down, packed it up, and we went up to the spot and did a little bit of fishing, and finally I caught my first couple of fish. My son couldn't enjoy it though because he was too busy worrying about mosquitoes, which were around the area, and him getting bit a couple of times and how they'd suck your blood and you die or something. But John gave him some insect repellent and sent him on his way. He still kind of kept tripping about the mosquitoes though, and not wanting to deal with them, and sat in the car and played his Switch and all that stuff. So I showed him. I caught a couple fish. He was mildly impressed at best, but we did it, and then we got on the road, and it was like a 4 hour drive home almost, nonstop, and we made it back. So it was a really relaxing weekend overall, outside of the driving piece. And I'm glad that I got to spend some time with my son, and we did go to this cave also on Saturday that was really awesome. We'd heard about where you can go in and it's completely pitch black, and it's probably a quarter of a mile walk, but you're walking through this complete darkness. And we had headlamps, and it still wasn't even bright enough. So we went through once and borrowed a family's lantern. They were kind enough to lend it, and made it out the other side. And then my son wanted to do it again, so we went around again and went halfway, and it was so dark he wanted to turn back. I thought we did turn back, but we didn't. We made it out the other side, and it was a pretty cool experience. You could hear the water dropping into puddles on the ground, and that was a lot of fun. That was a cool experience. So I'm trying to make more moments like that for my kids. I'm doing things like that this summer. I'm taking my kids on a cruise to Ensenada. I'm getting them outdoors where I can. I'm getting my son into karate. I'm trying to make these moments, and I see time slipping away as my daughter is about to enter high school, and it's just becoming real. And yeah, previously I'd been like saving, putting money in college funds, that sort of thing. I haven't been doing that really that much anymore because I'm kind of putting it more into vacations and experiences. Um, Not only for them, one for me also. I'm going to fly to Seattle in July to see something corporate on their tour, so I'll get to see them twice this year, and that's just a cool piece of nostalgia. It's selfish for me, but I'm going to visit some friends while I'm up there, which is also fun. So that's what's going on in my world. Let's talk a little bit about the concert that we're covering on the program today, which is X Ambassadors. We're going to get to X Ambassadors. They were the headliners, but they were also playing with this band called New West and Rowan Drake. And Rowan Drake, I think he said it was like his sixth or 11th show ever. He's this young dude, and he played just him and an acoustic guitar on stage. And I mean, his songs were really soft but comfortable, and I mean, you could tell he had a comfortable presence, even though he hadn't played a venue as big as August Hall in the past. It didn't intimidate him. He played like a 6-song set, and it was pretty. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I was actually kind of into his music. So we're gonna play a song by Rowan Drake. This is a song called "Beautiful Boy."
Beautiful boy, go and seek and show joy. That's your truth. My beautiful boy, youth is draining from your eyes. Most loose. When will you realize life away from his youth? 20 minutes now, before I was around, you remember the willow white pine long before you loved yourself so kind. I left you bounded by the promise of the been so long since I've been me, since I've been me, since I've since I've been me, since I've been me, since I've since I've since I've thank you guys.
That was Beautiful Boy here on Concert Pipeline. And so the next band we're going to talk about is New West. And New West really got the energy moving in the venue. People got excited to see them. The place had pretty much filled up by then, so so the house was pretty full. I was surprised at how packed the venue was. Actually, I don't think it was sold out, but if it wasn't, it was pretty freaking close to selling out. And uh, and New West came on, and what can I say about their performance? The lead singer played keyboard, and he had a great stage presence. Like, I mean, there was a photographer in the pit with me. Like, she had a long lens, and he went up right up to her lens, and kind of sang into it, sort of thing. And to the side after he did that, she to me she said, he was too close. I couldn't even get a picture of that. So I did take a picture of him, uh, getting into her face a little bit, because I thought it was a good photo, and I offered it to her afterwards, and she said no thanks. So I don't know. I guess she didn't want the picture, but uh, they put on a pretty enjoyable set as well, leading up to X Ambassadors. So why don't we play a song from New West? Here is Main Character.
Shit you only see in the movies. That's what we're all about. That's what we're all about. 6 a.m. in your room making movie. I got you screaming back, baby, just like that. I always smoke when I drink when I'm out. I'm out every night 'cause you love it better. pay attention. Listen right now.
All right, that was main character by New West here on Concert Pipeline, and that's going to take us into X Ambassadors. So they played a pretty hefty set actually at August Hall. They played 16 songs, including 2 songs in the encore. That we're going to play the song that they opened with here in just a moment, but I want to talk about just, I mean, I hadn't seen this band before, but it was a band that from all accounts, I like their music. I just never really got into them super heavily. And seeing a band like that you can enjoy that, and it's kind of a new experience. You don't know all their music. You might know a couple of songs, but you really appreciate their vibe is pretty cool. That's always really fun, and that's one of the things I like about doing this podcast is getting to experience new bands and hear band stories. And we're going to get into a story that in just a moment, that would kind of touch me a little bit. But first, before we do, I was pretty appreciative that X Ambassadors opened with their biggest hit, at least the one that I knew the best, and that is Renegades. So let's play Renegades by X Ambassadors.
I said, hey. Hey, hey, hey. I said, hey.
was Renegades by Ex-Ambassadors here on Concert Pipeline. Okay, so as this set went on, like I said, they played a 16-song set. We're gonna play a song that they did, their third song that they did. It's called "Smoke on the Highway." They during this lead up to the song, they kind of showed appreciation for San Francisco and how they hadn't played here for a while. I'll let them kind of cover that, but it's always good as a fan, when you're a fan of a band that hasn't played in your town for a while, you get to see them and get for them to acknowledge that they hadn't been there and they need to change that, and they're gonna and kind of show appreciation for the town that you're in. So let's play "Smoke on the Highway" by Ex-Ambassadors.
Ambassadors, welcome to the show. It has been a minute since we've been back here in San Francisco, since 2019, I think was last time we were here. And we are beyond excited to be here. And welcome to the Townie Tour, everybody. Welcome to the Townie Tour. Do you guys listen to the new record? We're going to be playing a bunch of songs from the new record, a bunch of old favorites, of course. This one is from that album. And, what can I say? It's a song about driving around town and smoking weed. Here we go.
Now say
was Smoke on the Highway by Ex Ambassadors. And one other story that I wanted to share is about one of the songs that they did during their set. Uh, yeah, so the sixth song of the set by Ex Ambassadors was is called "Friend for Life," and uh, leading up to it, uh, leading up to it, the lead singer of Ex Ambassadors, Sam Harris, told a little bit of a story and kind of gave some sentiment to the lyrics of "Friend for Life." And I want to dig into this song a little bit. Life lyrics. I should have had them ready, but it is. I mean, there's some touchy lyrics that that kind of hit me. Let me go to it here. Let's see. We don't talk now, but you're on my mind, and I just want to thank you for setting that bar so high. I just want to thank you for being my friend for life. Yeah, yeah. I never thought I'd ever let go. There's pieces of me only you know, and you know I love you. That ain't going nowhere. So put it on that demo tape. Let that shit bang. Got it on replay. And he he told a story about. I mean, he didn't name anybody in particular, but about losing a friend that, but still caring for that person, still having love for that friend that he lost, and that they will be friends for life ultimately, even though they're not friends still. And I'm kind of in a spot personally where I lost a friend last year, that I was very close with, and so when you hear a song like that that just kind of resonates, it's really cool. Wasn't familiar with that song, but I listened to it afterwards, and I mean, obviously heard it live, but hearing something that you can connect with, you're like, okay, so I'm not the only person out there that has lost a really good friend, but still, even though you had to process and let that person go, um, still holds that person in high regard and respects them and thanks them for the time. So I want to thank that friend for the 20 years of friendship that we did have, and um, and that let them know that I still care about them. Even though we don't talk, I don't text or call really, and I rarely get to see each other. So um, that was a pretty touching song, and I wanted to just kind of put a note of that out there, that I was able to connect to that. And so this is again back to a band that you like their music casually, and then you see live, and then something about them really connects. It's just one of the coolest things. So I really enjoyed that. Okay. So that was a show. I mean, again, they had a 16 song set. They played a great set at August Hall. I'd seen some shows there, and that was, I think, the last show I saw there was Barnes Courtney a couple months back, and it was just a great room for them to play, great venue, and great lineup. I enjoyed it. So let's move on to the final segment on the program, the music news. I got a couple stories to wind us out here today on the music news. So first is a story about Guns N' Roses. Slash says the Guns N' Roses are trying to make a new album, and he says, and I'm working with them in that capacity. And they have not released a full-length record since 2008's much delayed Chinese Democracy, on which Slash did not appear. So Guns N' Roses have been touring immensely. They've had multiple tours. Axl Rose has really hit his mark from everything I've seen in terms of being on time to shows, making it to shows, not having situations that cause shows to be canceled. And the band seemed, when I saw them a few years ago, really on point. Axl's voice is not what it used to be, but their stage presence, their connection, all seemed there. And so since Slash rejoined in 2016, they've released a handful of new tracks, including Absurd, Hard School, Precious, and The General, but there's been no confirmation on a further album. But now Slash has now told the Daily Star that plans are afoot to change that. Guns N' Roses are trying to make their own record. He said when asked why he didn't invite Axl Rose onto his own solo album. And I'm working with him in that capacity, but this solo album didn't involve anyone else. It was my own side thing, so I wasn't dragging my own guys in. And Slash released his blues album, Orgy of the Damned, via Gibson on May 17th. Its lead single was a cover of Howlin' Wolf's Killin' Floor, which featured AC/DC's Brian Johnson and Aerosmith's Steven Tyler on harmonica. So cool. So hopefully we hear some new Guns N' Roses music soon. Okay, speaking of new music, something that there hasn't been from a band for a long, long time. Head Automatica's first new music since 2006, with prowling new single "Bear the Cross" is being released. So the band, led by Glassjaw's Daryl Palumbo, resurfaced in 2023. The band returned with their first new music. And they had been absent for a very long time. They played a series of shows around the U.S. I think they hit San Francisco too, but I didn't get a chance to see them. But they were one of those bands that was in that pop punk era that I really loved, and I got to see them. I think maybe only once at Slim's with a band called Morningwood that I had interviewed. But I really liked their song "Graduation Day." I like some of their other songs. I mean, they had a really good vibe that I remember. And they have new material. And so Bear the Cross is both a logistical and unexpected evolution of Head Automatica's sound. Palumbo said, "The sounds and ideas are very familiar, but age undeniably changes your personality, creative leanings, and approach. There's an urgency and boldness in what you feel empowered to produce after a certain point. Bear the Cross and our new material on the whole are a reflection of that, while still constantly maintaining a body moving element. They're going to be playing a series of 4 shows this month, including their first gig in New York in 14 years, and a double appearance at the UK Slam Dunk Festival. So if you like Head Automatica, check that out." Okay. Billie Eilish's new album was almost named after a legendary quote from The Office. She's notoriously a big fan of The Office, and her third LP, "Hit Me Hard and Soft," was released on May 17th. And the singer, in an interview with the Rolling Stone, revealed that before landing on an official title for the album, which was taken from what she misheard as the name of a Logic Pro synth, she nearly named it Patheticville from a scene in The Office. The term is used by the character Kelly Kapoor in the 3rd season of the series, when she and the rest of the crew from the show are making fun of a speech given by Pam Beesly at Dunder Mifflin's beach games. "I thought it was Patheticville. No offense, Pam," Kapoor says in the episode. Eilish is a massive fan of the US series and believed it was a good potential title for her 3rd album, and she wrote it down. And there was obviously other names in the works, so it didn't land there. Okay. Dead and Company kicked off an epic visual feast residency at the Las Vegas Sphere. It was the first of 24 dates at the state-of-the-art venue for the band. It drew on their 60 years of history. Thought the Dead were done, but apparently when the Sphere comes calling, you're going to play some more shows. So they're made up of Grateful Dead's Bob Weir and Mickey Hart, alongside John Mayer, Odell Burbridge, Jeff Chimenti, and Jay Lane. They announced a run of shows at the venue in February, teasing it with a video of Grateful Dead's "Steal Your Face" logo projected on the outer sphere of the cutting-edge new arena. The opening night of the run took place on May 16th, with 3 shows a week now scheduled up until the residency's end on July 13th. And the visuals are, I mean, they're pretty incredible. And just looking at some of the pictures from the show, it is ridiculous how incredible the visuals look in this venue. So if you want to see a show, I mean, this might be one. Even if you're not a Dead fan, you might really freaking enjoy it. It was 19 tracks and over 3 hours long. The band made use of the state-of-the-art technology in the venue to project familiar imagery and characters from their history onto the giant LED screens, including the Skull and Roses and the Dancing Bears, but so much more. I mean, there's some video online if you want to check it out. They did covers of Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, and Not Fade Away by the Rolling Stones, uh, and obviously a bunch of original stuff as well. So check that out if you're interested. Okay. Ozzy Osbourne would jump at the chance to play a final Black Sabbath show with Bill Ward. It's unfinished. My drummer did a great job, but he ain't Bill Ward, said the Prince of Darkness. And originally, Ward was part of the November 2011 Black Sabbath reunion, but pulled out in early 2012, attributing an unreasonable contract as his reason for departure. And drummer Tommy Kluftos stepped in and performed live on the Black Sabbath reunion tour and the End tour. Appearing in the most recent episode of the Madhouse Chronicles, Ozzy opened up about his career in that Black Sabbath with his close friend Billy Morrison. Toward the end of the interview, the Prince of Darkness watches footage of the band's final show at Birmingham's Genting Arena on February 4th, 2017. That must have been cool for you. How did you feel? Were you glad it was done? Morrison asked Ozzy, to which he replied, yeah, but it was sad that Bill wasn't there. I mean, Tommy, my drummer, did a great job, but he ain't Bill Ward. Morrison then went on to ask the Warpig singer if he was content with the arc of the legend of Black Sabbath. He said no, because it wasn't Black Sabbath that finished it. It's unfinished. If they wanted to do one more gig with Bill, I would jump at the chance. Do you know what would be cool? If we went to a club or somewhere unannounced and we just got up and did it. We started up in a club. And so they're planning 2 more shows to say goodbye. Sharon Osbourne confirmed earlier this year before he fully retires from performing live. He won't tour again, but we're planning on doing 2 more shows to say goodbye, as he feels like I've never said goodbye to my fans, and I want to say goodbye. Sharon says his voice is still absolutely perfect, and all the time he has been off, he still does his singing lessons. Even if you don't like his music, you can't not like Ozzy. And so she purportedly hinted that he would stage the pair of farewell concerts at the Villa Park Stadium in his home city of Birmingham. So you're going to have to go to England if you want to see Ozzy Osbourne. And last but not least, Tenacious D covered Oasis's Champagne Supernova, and they also broke out the first full performance of their Britney Spears Baby One More Time cover, which they had done recently. So apparently Jack Black and Kyle Gass are a cover band now. I don't know. I guess 2 songs doesn't make you a cover band, but I miss classic Tenacious D. I miss them. I love Tenacious D, and their debut album was incredible. The Pick of Destiny was enjoyable. I think I got more enjoyment out of it than most people. The movie was good. It wasn't amazing, and after that, I don't know. There was spots of goodness, but not greatness. But they in Britain, not Britain, Brighton, as part of their Spicy Meatball tour, they did these covers. So and had a great show. I'm sure. I would love to see Tenacious D again. I just miss classic Tenacious D. So, all right, that's the show for today. Next week on the program, we're supposed to have an interview with Yellow Card, Ryan Key of Yellow Card. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping it's going to happen. I just said it on the podcast, so have to make it so. Also going to be at a Bottle Rock after show with Chevy Metal, so I'm sure I'll bring some concert footage from that concert as well. So that is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. For all of us here at Concert Pipeline, I'm Steve Jones. We'll catch you next time.